tutorial video where we'll be creating more games and animations on Scratch 3. So what we're going to do today is we're going to create a chase game. So let's click on tutorials. Then we're going to click on make a chase game. And you'll see a little pop-up screen on your monitor. So it says here make a chase game. So we're going to click on next, which tells us we need to add a backdrop called ocean. So let's look for backdrop. Use the search tool called ocean or underwater. Then we're going to go to the next tutorial, which is getting rid of our sprite 1, which is the cat, by clicking on the dustbin right here. Click on new sprite and look for octopus. So you can use the search tool once again and type there octopus or oct and it will show up here. Next step is moving our octopus left or right. So we go to events and drag out when space key is pressed 2 times. Change them by clicking on the drop down arrow, and the first one will be right arrow. The second one will be left arrow. Then we're going to go to motion and we're going to drag out change X by 10. And in the left arrow, we're going to drag out change X by 10, but change the number to -10. Then we're going to click on the next step, which is having our octopus to go up and down. So we're going to go to events, drag out when space key twice. Drop down arrow, look for up arrow. And in the second one, down arrow. Then we're going to go to motion and drag out change Y by 10 for up arrow, change Y by 10 in the down arrow, by change the number to a -10. Then you want to test it out by clicking on your key, or not clicking, but using your keyboard to move your octopus left and right. Right. Next thing we're going to do is add another sprite called a star. So choose a sprite, search here for star. Then the next step is we want the star to move randomly. So let's go to events and drag out when green flag is clicked. Go to control and drag out the forever loop. Then go to motion and drag out glide 1 second to random position and put it inside the forever loop. Next thing we want to do is code our octopus. So let's click on octopus. Okay. And we want our octopus to play a sound every time it touches the star. So let's go to events and drag out when green flag is clicked. Then we're going to go to control and drag out the forever loop. Then we're going to also drag out the if then statement. Then we're going to go to sensing and drag out touching mouse pointer and drop it in where it says if. Click on the drop down arrow and look for star. Then we're going to go to sound and drag out play sound splash until done and put it inside the if statement. Next thing we want to do is create a score variable. So let's click on variables, make a variable and call it score. and click OK. Then we're going to go to the next step, which is when the octopus touches the star, it needs to gain a point. So let's drag out change my variable by 1 and put it inside the if statement, but on top of play sound splash until done. Click on the drop down arrow and look for score. Then you want to also set your score to 0 every time you start a new game. So drag out set my variable to 0 and put it right on top of the forever loop. Click on the drop down arrow and look for score. Alright, so we're done with the first part of our game. So you can click on file and save to your computer. And you're going to save it as make a chase game. Make a chess or make a chase game. Make a chase game. And click on save. Then we're going to click on file and click on new and say okay. Now we're going to click on tutorials once again, and we're going to do another tutorial called Imagine If. All right, so let's click on next step. So we're going to code our cat here to say something. So we're going to go to looks and drag out two say hello blocks for 2 seconds. 1, 2. In the second hello block, change it to imagine if ... Next step, go to events and drag out when green flag is clicked and click on our green flag to see our cat say hello, imagine if. Next step is we're going to need to choose a backdrop. Anyone is fine, so let's click on choose backdrop, and I am going to choose Castle 2. Alright, click on next. So now, as you guys can see, we have lots of sprites to choose from, but they want us to code the butterfly one. So let's click on choose a sprite, use the search tool and type there and get butterfly 1, butterfly 1. Next step, we're going to drag out when space key is pressed. Go to sound, drag out play sound pop or start sound. Then we're going to go to motion and drag out glide 1 second to random position. Next step, we're going to code an athlete called Ben. So let's go to new sprite, search for Ben. Here he is, Ben. Gonna put him right here. You guys can rearrange your sprites. We want Ben to move left and right. So let's go to events and drag out when space key is pressed 2 times. Change by clicking on the drop down arrow, look for right arrow, then left arrow. Go to motion, drag out change X by 10 for right arrow, and change X by -10 for left arrow. Alright, next step. We have to now have a hedgehog go up and down. So let's get a new sprite. Type the hedgehog, here he is. We're going to code the hedgehog to go up and down. So let's go to events, drag out when space key is pressed 2 times. Click on the drop down arrow, look for up. In the second one, down. Go to motion, drag out change Y by 10 for up, and change Y by -10 for down. Next step, we want the rooster to change costumes. So let's go and look for a rooster. Choose sprite. Use the search tool, rooster. Okay, gonna put him here on top. Go to events, drag out when space key is pressed. Sorry. When this sprite is clicked, go to looks and drag out switch costume to rooster A, change it to rooster B. Go to control and drag out the wait loop. Change the number to 0.3. Go back to looks and drag out switch costume 2. Change it to A or leave it as it is. Go back to control, drag out the wait loop and change the value to 0.3 as well. Then we're going to click on next and we're going to find Earth. So let's go to new sprite and look for Earth using the search tool, Earth. And we want Earth to glide at a certain point, but starting off in the middle. So let's go to events and drag out when green flag is clicked. Go to motion and drag out go to X and Y block. Change the values to 0 for both of them. And drag out glide 1 seconds to X and Y value. X will be 120. Y will be -40. Right, let's go to the next. We want these drums to grow and shrink. So let's click on choose sprite. Go to the music category and click on drums tabla. Drums tabla. There we're going to code it. Go to events and drag out when this sprite clicked. Go to control and drag out repeat loop. Change the number to 2. Go to looks and drag out set size to 100% and put it inside the loop. Change the value to 125. Go to sound and drag out play sound high na tabla or high na tabla until done and put it inside the repeat loop right underneath set size to 125%. Then go back to looks and drag out set size to 100%. Put it inside the repeat loop but underneath play sound high na tabla. Next step, we need to choose another backdrop of your choosing. I am going to choose, let's go field at meet. Then we're going to need another sprite. So let's click on choose sprite and look for Avery. All right, then we're going to code Avery to switch us from the second backdrop to our third backdrop. So let's go to events and drag out when green flag is clicked. Go to looks and drag out switch backdrop to. Obviously yours will be different from mine. So if I click the drop down arrow, I want it to switch to field at meet. Go to control and drag out the wait loop. Change the value to a 2. Go back to looks and drag out switch costume 2. No, sorry, switch backdrop 2. We say switch backdrop to my second one, which is castle 2. And we're going to drag out say hello for 2 seconds and change the hello to let's explore. Next step is adding a sound. So you guys can record a sound or choose any sound from the library. So we're going to do that. I'm going to click on loops, the loops category, and choose Dance Magic. Next step is choosing your own sound. So you can click on the stage, click on choose sound once again. Again, you can choose any sound you want. I'm going to choose Dance Funky for this one. Go to the code area, go to events, drag out when green flag is clicked, go to sound, and drag out play sound pop until done. Click on the drop down arrow and look for the one that you've just added. For me, it will be Dance Funky. And there you have it. Imagine if, with all these sprites having a code on. So if you click on the first sprite, all right, so I'm going to click on my, there we go. So here is our first sprite. I click on it, click the green flag. All right, so something is happening. If you want to click on your butterfly, you should see that if you click the space bar, it moves your butterfly. If you click on Avery or the green flag, all right, there we go. There you have it. Now you can click on File, Save to your computer. And this tutorial is called Imagine If. Imagine If. And you can click on Save. And there you have it. 2 tutorials. The first one was make a chase game, and the second one is Imagine If.